So today we're going to talk about coloring metals. As it says there, coloring of metals, an introduction to patinas. Patina is a widely used word, sometimes has a misnomer to it, because a real patina is when you're talking about an acid or chloride or something like that attacking either metal or wood or clay or stone. Okay. Okay, and here's two examples of a natural patina and an artificial patina or chemical patina. Okay. On this one, the first one here, you're looking at, this is probably, I would just be willing to bet that's cast iron. This is steel, okay? And so then you've got erosion of the steel. What happens is the atmosphere is attacking it. And so over time, although it looks to me like this had a primer on it, it broke through the primer and started rusting the steel. If you look back in time, if you go to the 17th century in England, and England's a good place to talk about because you've got water all around it, and you've got sodium chloride, salt. And so they used a lot of copper facades and roofs, and they also did gutters and downspouts. And if you look at the 17th, 18th century, you'll see greens all over the copper. Ideal situation. You've also got fog. So you've got all these acids in the fog. Fog is laying on the metal. It's starting to color it. And generally, sodium chloride is going to be a green. Okay. And then you have the Industrial Revolution. And that happened in the 19th century. And to try and power all these steam boilers and everything, they started using coal. And the coal they were using had a lot of sulfur in it. So now you see sulfur going into the air, as well as the chlorides. And so that sulfur causes browns and blacks. And then you have different mixtures of those two. And so these green roofs out of copper started turning brown and black. And what the metal is trying to do is protect itself. So it's sending up stuff, migrating red copper oxide through the metal and bonding with the chlorides or the sulfurs that are in the air and that are coming down and combining to make a patina. Okay. In an artificial patina, a chemical patina, you're causing that to happen in a matter of hours. It could be in a matter of minutes if it's a hot patina. So everything we're looking at, we'll talk about each one has acids in it. And they can either be hot or cold. Okay? There's different ways to put on patinas. You put them on hot, you put them on cold. The reaction on a cold patina is slower than a reaction on a hot patina. And I'm talking about steel and iron as well as bronze, brass, and copper. Browns, blacks, blues, and greens are normally traditional patinas. And the browns and the blacks are what I call base patinas. That means they're going to be the first thing you're going to put on the metal. And if you have a textured surface, you're going to put the black on, or the brown. This could be on steel, forged, could be on copper, brass, and you're going to get this dark surface, and then you start to take it off and you have darks and lights. And then you usually build up from there. That's when you start adding your different other patinas. And this first one here, this is a cold patina, and this is multi-chemicals, meaning I put on 3 different things. I put on a brown to start with, right there, and then I put on a green, and then I put on a blue. The blue and the green went on at the same time. The brown came on first. I let it dry, let the brown bite into the metal, which may take anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour. Depends. It depends on what color you're looking for. You're looking for a light brown, a light black, or a dark black, or a dark brown. And then I put the blue and the green on afterwards, and then I put plastic wrap over the top. This is on copper here, that was on bronze. This one here is singular. I put this patina on, it's a new red patina we have, and then I put again plastic wrap over the top. This can be done on copper, brass, bronze, iron, and steel. Gives you wonderful textures. You get just the most incredible textures. This one was buried. okay? And this was, first I put on a brown on the bottom, and this was liver sulfur, and then over the top of that, I put it into a plastic container with sawdust in it. And the sawdust was impregnated, this particular one was impregnated with ammonia and vinegar, and a little bit of salt. And I left it in for a day or so. And that's called a berry patina. This right here is a paste patina. That means you put the chemicals, dry chemicals together, then you add vinegar, not water, and it kind of bubbles and foams. You put it on. This is on bronze, this was on copper, and you let it sit overnight, and in the morning you come and wash it off. I also put pigments in this. We're going to talk a lot about pigments. Pigments are big. Pigments are great because two things. They're stable, they don't change, and what you see is what you get. Okay? It's not like a chemical reaction. That can vary. It can be humidity, it can be a lot of different things environmentally that are going to change a patina. That's acid. Anything that's pigment or dye, not going to change it. This here is rust. Okay? This is ferric chloride, ferric nitrate, ferric chloride on steel. Okay? This was done hot. This is a berry patina here. In this one here, I left on the sawdust, so there's little bits of sawdust on this, and they impregnate into the patina. This one, I washed it off. This one is on copper. I put a hot patina. This is ferric nitrate. That's iron mixed with nitric acid. That makes a nice brown patina on copper, brass, or bronze. On steel, it makes this. Okay? And this was done hot, that was done hot. Then after I finished that, I let it set for about an hour. And then I took, again, plastic wrap, sprayed a blue patina on the plastic wrap, not on the surface of the metal, and laid the metal on top of the plastic wrap, because I wanted this really nice design. Okay. This third one here is this last one is a hot patina. This is more complicated. This is called ringlets, or tortoise shell, and it's done with a brush, and it's done hot. It has to be just at the right temperature, so you get these nice ringlets. Okay, and this was 3 patinas combined. I had the base patina here was liver sulfur, which is a cold patina that turns from a gold to a black, depending on how you put it on. Okay, and then the second patina is ferric nitrate, and that's these kind of yellowy colors. And then the third one here is titanium oxide mixed with ferric nitrate. Okay, titanium oxide is really nice. It's what all paints are made of, basically. Okay, this is universals, and this is another group. And these are basically, they're opaque, and they have oxides or carbonates in them, and they go on any metal, they'll go on any surface you want. Really nice. A lot of these here I'm going to show you are steel and iron. Okay, and so they remain on the surface as they are, they don't change. Now what I've done is multi-layered all these, that's why they look complicated. Okay, and they'll go with acid patina, so you can mix them. If you want to put a universal with an acid, you can. All the ones we carry are interchangeable, meaning they go with each other. All of them go together. Okay. First one here, this is actually a ferric nitrate. That's on bronze. That's done hot. This is another hot patina. This is on steel. This is the universals on steel. And I just put it on with a spray bottle, and those are droplets. And so you have to get the steel very, very hot, 220 degrees. And when these droplets hit the metal, they cause this to be like it is here, like a granite look, like a green granite. This is a cast iron here, and this is a rust patina and our brown, universal rust. Same thing here, and this one I put a little black, universal black with it. It's on steel again. This is on steel here too. Again, universals. This is more complicated. I've used a spray, and then I've used a stream, and I've used droplets. So I've done 3 different things with a spray bottle. And all of these take time. You have to learn how to do it. It's craft. It's not a science, so it's something you have to do by practice. You have to practice. These are, again, universals, blues. Okay. This was put on with a sponge. Did this with a sponge. Again, this is on steel. And this is yellow and rust combined with brown. This is a forged piece of aluminum a friend of mine did at a conference, iron conference. And this is our dioxide. So this is like universals. These are non-acid. Put them on anything you want to put them on. You can go on clay, stone, wood, go on metal, any kind of metal, and they're transparent. So they go real nice over something else, and they'll slightly tint it. Right here, what I've done, this is called A14, which is put out by Birchwood Casey, a company, and it turns the aluminum black. So I blackened the whole thing, and then I took it underwater to neutralize the black. And then I took it off with a Scotch-Brite, and then I heated up the metal, the aluminum, to about 200 degrees, and then I sprayed on yellow dioxide over the top. These are vistas, and these are a little bit more complicated in the sense of how they react. This one here, vistas mean, what it means is you have an acid with a pigment, coloring, or an oxide or a carbonate. And so what you get in the beginning, when you spray it on the metal, could be on steel, but these are all mainly on bronze, brass, and copper. If you spray it on, you're going to start by getting, let's say, this color here, which is rust. If it stays on long enough liquid, then it starts getting the greens coming through the rust. Okay. This one, again, the same thing. I used the rust patina, but I didn't let it stay wet long. I dried it very quickly with a hairdryer, so you don't get very many greens going on. This right here is our mint green. On this one here, this is a little different. This one pretty much stays the mint color, and I put this on with a sponge, sprayed on, sprayed on. This one here, again, is rust and yellow, and then what happened is as it was drying, these areas stayed liquid longer, and the greens started coming up. So you have that variety. You can have it if you want it, just the color you see in the beginning, let's say black, or if you let it stay liquid, or you leave it out in the evening, and so it has a chance to have the moisture come in. It doesn't dry as quickly, then you start getting all of these variations going on here. Okay. Again, this is a red one. This is our red vista, and yet you can see that there's just little tiny hints of green coming through. This is our vista green. This one pretty much is going to be just about like it is here. Okay. The mint, this one, and the green, this one here, generally are pretty much what you see is what you get. The others can change, marbleize, depending on the atmosphere, the humidity, how long they stay wet, how quick they dry. This is, again, something you kind of learn by doing. This one here was the brown, and then in the brown, again, it didn't dry too quickly, so I started getting greens coming through here. And these are all basically the same down here that you're looking at all. Okay, this is patina stains. This is one of our new ones. They're really nice. Again, they're transparent. They contain no acid, so they can go on anything. Doesn't matter. I put it on a wooden fence the other day. It looked great. Okay, it doesn't matter what you put it on. Okay, it's applied cold, so that makes it nice too. But I learned, because I had to do some projects for a company, that it works really nice warm. So you can warm it up with a hairdryer, and that way you can create patterns. One of the problems when something is cold, it's hard to create patterns. When it's hot or warm, then it stays where you want it, so you can do different things with it. So this one here, and we have 4 colors. We have verde, brown, yellow, and black. This is the black. Now, on this one here, the first one, what I did on this was put PC9, which is, again, a Birchwood Casey. It's a company that sells about 7 patinas for iron, steel, aluminum, and bronze, brass, and copper. So I put a black on, and once I got the black the way I wanted, I pulled the black off underwater with a Scotch-Brite, gray, so I had dark in the recesses, and then at the top I had it was fairly shiny, kind of a gray color, and then I went back and I buffed them up a little bit, and I did that to each one of these. This one has nothing but the patina stained black. The next one here, the brown, has a patina stained brown and a little yellow. And then this one here, the yellow one, is just basically yellow over the black. The last one, the green here, has got green and black stained over the top of the black patina. And they're very durable. What's the oxide that's in there, which is incredibly fine, and that's what makes it transparent. It's in one of our seal coats, so it's very, very strong. It's our water-based seal coat. Okay, it's smart coat. This one here, I just want to say that this is a solvent. Okay, this is it, and these are in spray cans. This next one is Smart Stain, and this is basically our water-based coating with our water-based stain into it. This is on stainless steel. And you put this on coal. This is a large piece. I'll show it again later. Okay, this is forged copper. Artist is Pat Downey. He just got 2 big commissions. So he forged these pieces of copper. And the top side that you're looking at there is a kind of shiny copper. And then he put our solvent dyes on it with mica powders. The underside that you're looking at has hot patina, which is a ferric nitrate and cupric nitrate put on together. So the bottom side, on the left-hand side there, this side right here, this is the hot patina, ferric nitrate, and cupric nitrate. Over here is where you have mica powders that are, you can see them. See them right there, and a little on the other side. This is the kind of equipment you're going to need if you're going to do any patinas. One thing about patinas is the most important part of metal surface preparation. You have to prep the metal really, really well. On those maple leaves that I showed you a while ago, that's cold rolled steel. It always has an oil on it. You have to get that oil off. When you're doing a patina, what you're looking for is enough indentations in the metal so that the patina is going to bite, sort of like pixels on a TV. The more you have, the smoother and nicer the patina is going to be. The best for anything, as far as I'm concerned, is sandblasting. Okay, and if you're doing something opaque, 40 grit sand works great. Alumina, silica, either one, alumina or silica. And if you're going to do a hot patina, you probably want to go to the aluminum oxide, and you probably want to go 120 grit. So that first thing there is a sandblaster. This one here, Harbor Freight, very inexpensive. I have one, it's really nice. Next thing might be an orbital sander, which is right down here. And those are nice if you've got nice flat surfaces to do. And I usually use anywhere from a 40 to 120. Sometimes I will go with both. I'll use the orbital sander and I'll use the sandblaster. And then if you're getting into more exotic surfaces, such as something that's semi-smooth or smooth, you might want to go to, that's a side angle grinder there. And I've got 2 things I do if I'm going to do something that's got transparency in it. This is on steel or on bronze, brass, or copper. I'll do the sandblasting first to get the pits. Then I'll go in with a wire brush on maybe a side angle die grinder. And then after that, those last little discs over there on the left that are kind of blue, those are called surface conditioning wheels. And they have compound in them. You buy them over at Harbor Freight. They're real inexpensive. And I put those on last, and that kind of gives me almost a 400 to 500 sandpaper shine. And that's how I would do a surface. Here I'm doing a cold patina, and this is on steel. I've sandblasted this. Okay, and I'm using what we call our black magic. There's all kinds of blacks out there for steel. If you want a really nice black that's even, you have to sandblast. It's the only way to really get that nice even surface, because again, pixels on a TV, the more little indentations you have, the smoother the patina is going to be. And black magic is kind of nice because what it is it's one of the many blacks, but it doesn't rust as quick. One of the things on steel and iron is that within 30 minutes to 2 hours, you've got acid combined with selenium. Those are the 2 main ingredients in any of your blacks. And so the selenium turns it black, but the acid that's making it bite starts to rust it. And so you don't have a lot of time.
After you put this on, after you sandblasted the patina, can you powder coat this with a clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Some you can, some you can't. It depends on your powder coater. I've seen powder coaters that can do it and some that can't. Acids are very difficult to powder coat, but non-acids aren't. They're really easy.
This is an acid?
This is an acid. This is a very heavy acid, actually.
Okay.
Anyway, and I'm spraying it on here, and then right here, you can see it's starting to take, and that brown that you're looking at is not rust. That's part of the patina. This one, the Black Magic, will last anywhere from 2 to 4 hours without rusting. And to get a black on anything, I don't care what the metal is, it's going to take you 3 times to get a nice jet black. You put it on, get the black. The first time it's going to go kind of a gray black. Wash it real good so you neutralize it. Put it on a second time, it'll go blacker, and then you wash that. You have to neutralize all these. The third time you put it on, you're going to get a really nice black. That's on bronze, brass, or copper, or iron, steel. I don't care what it is, aluminum. It's always going to be the same.
What are you washing it with?
Just regular water. Still water would be the best, but nobody's going to do that. Okay, here's some more cold patinas. This is on cold rolled steel, and this is our slate black. It's a very strong black. In fact, it's so strong on steel, sometimes it'll kind of chip off, flake off. That's what I was looking for. So I put it on 3 times so I get this kind of flaking quality with it. Okay, I did that purposely, but it can happen to you. Flaking generally comes on a metal, I don't care what metal. When you put the patina on, you don't think it's working very well, and you let it sit for 10 or 15 minutes, and then you put the patina on again. What happens is that second patina starts undermining the first one. It's trying to graft to whatever the metal is. Okay. Here, the second one here is cold rolled steel, the Japanese brown. That's probably our most popular rust, and it's a very stable rust. There's 2 kinds of rust. There's a rust that's not stable, and that usually has something with chlorides in it if you're rusting it. And the other one would be something that doesn't have a chloride in it. Ferric nitrate's a real good one for rusting steel and iron. It's fairly stable. Okay, and Japanese brown is right behind it. It's being very, very stable. This is put on cold, so you can kind of get a look. And this is cast iron.
Did you sandblast that first?
I did. Sandblasted it really well, about 40 grit. Okay, the next one here is the same. I use Japanese brown, but in the Japanese brown, I use copper sulfate, and that kind of gives you a little bit more of those yellowy, orangey colors. And then I used our dyes, and I used yellow dye. This is water-based dye, dioxide. I use that with it, so it kind of gives you that kind of a nice mottled look. This is galvanizing. We're having a lot of calls on galvanizing, so we've done a lot of patinas for galvanizing. And this is ferric nitrate, and that's put on cold. And you kind of get this, it's a little more brown than it shows here. This is a piece of aluminum, and this is our solvent dyes, which we'll talk about more later. We'll go into the solvent dyes just a little bit more. They're pretty much what you see is what you get. They're transparent. I put this on with a sponge. This is stainless steel, which I don't know why you'd want to color it, but a lot of people do. We'll talk about that in a minute. This is our solvent dyes again. I put this on with a sponge. The reason for the difference in textures is the difference in the sponges. I'm always looking for different textures in sponges. This one up here is the Vista. Remember we talked about the Vista a little while ago. It's an acid with a colorant or oxide. And so you can see the greens really came up, and you get just little bits of the black. This was black Vista patina. This is copper, and I've got powder blue on here, okay? And powder blue, we have, you can have different types of blues. One blue would be, the blue would be accomplished by having ammonia in the chemicals combination formula. But what happens if it goes outdoors, ammonia evaporates, and so you lose the blues and it goes to green. So powder blue has pigment in it. So it has different blue pigments in it, so it's always going to stay blue outdoors. Just depends on what you're doing. This is, which we've seen before, I think. This is where I use saran wrap. I started with green, let the green dry and get to the green color I wanted. And then I took blue, powder blue, and put it on the saran wrap, and then put the piece onto the saran wrap. This is copper, and this is ferric nitrate, ferric chloride, one of my very favorite patinas. It works either hot or cold, works great on steel. Be careful though and make sure you neutralize this ferric chloride is what would be the culprit if you want it on steel. It gives you really nice reddish browns. It's gorgeous. Next one here, this is copper. I got Tiffany green, that's Tiffany's formula. I modified it slightly, but it's basically Tiffany's formula. I put the green on, let the green dry till it got the kind of mottled greens. Takes about an hour. Then I washed it under hot running water for about 2 minutes. You start getting oranges and yellows and browns. So it's a multi-patina. You can have different things with it depending on what you do with it. One is to wash it. This one here is our solvent dyes on brass. Again, I used a sponge. And I have different, obviously, we have a lot of solvent dye color-wise, about 11. We have all the primaries, secondaries, white, black. These are all light stable, and they have UV inhibitors in them, and they have rust inhibitors in them, and they have chemical inhibitors in it. Anything that lays on the top that's supposed to be a protective coating, or our transparent dye, solvent dyes, have all these inhibitors in them. So when you put them on something, this is a train station we did down in Carlsbad, California, and this was a laminate. We had copper over this laminate, and so he wanted a patina, the architect, and we had 4 days to do a 10,000 square foot roof, and these here, and the interior here. And so we used our mint green. It's my favorite patina outdoors on copper. It's the most stable. It never changes. You don't have to worry about it, and I didn't even seal the roof. Luckily, it was summertime, so the roof was getting around 200 degrees, so it wasn't that difficult to do it. It just went on easily. We put them on with sponges, those kind of mops, and it went great. And then on the inside, I did lacquer the inside here. Again, that's mint green. This one up here is the mint green right here. This is stainless steel through here. This is liver of sulfur on these areas here. We just finished this piece about 4 months ago, but it's holding up real well. And we have our Everclear on it here, which is our protective coating. This is a nice one. You'll see this again. This is a eucalyptus leaf. It's about 9 feet long. It's under a eucalyptus tree, and there's a whole bunch of them. It's one of my favorite sculptures, this lady. Her name is Christine Oatman. This is berry patinas. I showed you those before. We already went through this one here. Again, the sawdust is real important. That would be white pine, Douglas fir. You can put any kind of chemicals you want in it. You can use, like I said, ammonia, vinegar, salt, works great. And you want loose, you want some chips as well as some very fine sawdust in there, so it has room to breathe. You need oxygen in there. This one, I used Tiffany green, number one. I used Tiffany green, number one. I didn't take the sawdust off, left it on. This one I washed. Okay, this one here I washed too. This one is a multi-layered one I used. This is 22 karat gold, white gold. I used ferric nitrate hot, and I buried it. Okay, so that's complex. This is one I did just so I could make it look really ancient. Right here, this area right here is really what the patina really looks like. There's a lot of light on this side, so you're not seeing this side here. It just took me about 5 days to get to this. What the Romans and the Greeks, when they unearthed their pieces, looked like in 5,000 years or 2,000 years, is what I did in 5 days. Okay, you can do it quickly.
What is the base metal on that?
That was bronze. Okay, this is wrapped patinas. Okay, and this is, again, we were talking about this before. This is where we're wrapping them with saran wrap or plastic wrap. This has 22 karat gold on it first, this copper, and then I put the patina on, which was Tiffany green, and then I put the wrap over the top. This is on steel, and this is, again, 22 karat gold. You could put white gold on it if you wanted, and then I put, I think I put Japanese brown, I'm almost positive, and then I put the plastic wrap over the top. Okay, this is a little more complicated. This is white gold, yellow gold, 22 karat both of them, and then I put the patina on this one and then wrapped it. This one again is somewhat similar to the other ones. What I'm wrapping in it width is aluminum foil, so when you put a certain patina down that has ammonium chloride in it, and I left areas open, and this was powder blue, and then I kind of crushed aluminum and put it on top of some of the areas. And what it does is electroplates to the copper, okay? And then I put the plastic over the top, and I pulled it off in about a day. This is even more multi-layered. This is like, I put on a deep green patina, but first I put on white gold, and I put a deep green around it, because I put it on, put the sizing on with a sponge, then you put your white gold on, and then you put the patina on around it, and I seal that with lacquer, then I put another coat, another coat, another coat, and 3 layers of white gold. So it's a multi-layered piece. Okay, this one here is galvanizing, and we're getting a lot of calls on galvanizing. This is a smart coat that I showed you a while back. On these, I warm these up with a hairdryer, and then I took a sponge, and this is a facial sponge, a woman's sponge you buy in the drugstore, a little tiny thing like this. Has nice texture on the sponge. They're artificial sponges too, so. And so then I took the sponges while it was still warm, and I put black and brown on this one here. Black first, then brown. On this one here, I put black and green. And this is our smart stains. We have a lot of colors. This is black and brown, but just a little bit hint of brown. This is brown, yellow, orange, and green put on, layer after layer, okay? This is just black put over the galvanizing. This is all non-acid, okay? And it's basically you're putting on a seal coat as well as a color all at the same time. And it's transparent. So you could have put, I could have put a acid black underneath, pulled it back to where it was a gray, and then put these over the top of it, okay? Very, very strong. Extremely strong. These are acid patinas, okay, on these here. And this is slate black, and again, these are put on hot, so you kind of get the idea of what these look like on galvanizing. This is ferric nitrate. Here's a black, well, I showed you this one before, black magic. This is stainless. I don't know why you'd want to, patina stainless, but people do, so we came up with patinas for stainless. We have a black for stainless. A jet black. Again, to get jet black, you have to put it on 3 times. The first time is going to give you a gray. This one here was never made for stainless, but it works fairly nice. It's called our rainbow. I'll show you it later on. This isn't showing exactly. It has a little more rainbow in it. This is a piece of stainless steel rail, and what's on here is again smart stain. So I just warmed it up, the stainless, and put black on first and brown over the top. This is green and yellow. Okay. Here is hot patina, slate black. This is slate black and our black, stainless steel black put together. And this is our stainless steel black put on hot. These are all 3 put on stainless. Now, before you put anything on stainless, you have to get through the chrome and the nickel. That's why you buy stainless, is because you don't want it to rust. You don't want it to stain. So if you're going to put a patina on it, and it's an acid patina, not a non-acid, but if it's an acid patina, then you have to get through the chrome and the nickel. So you have to sandblast it and grind it. You have to get down to a layer that has steel in it, so it reacts. Okay. There is a migration of the chrome and nickel in time. In about 3 or 4 weeks, it will kind of migrate back up and kind of seal it off to a degree. So just some of the equipment you want if you were doing hot patinas. This is a patina torch. It's a patina torch here, and this is the propane bottle. The torch is really important, the flame that comes out of it, and I think I have one coming up, and I'll show it to you, the kind of flame you need. You need a blue flame. You want it either neutral or an oxygen flame, not a reducing flame, which is orange. You do not want an orange flame. This is a unit you can buy, patina torch, called Red Dragon. This is a patina stand. It's got a grid here so that the liquids go down through it and they don't pool in the bottom of your piece and ruin it. This is something you can buy over at Harbor Freight. It's like $9.95 sometimes to be done. Works great. It's a lot more controllable than a torch. Torch takes a while to learn how to use it properly, particularly on bronze, brass, and copper. On iron and steel, for some reason, it's very forgiving. You can overheat it quite a bit and you still get what you want. If you want it on bronze, brass, and copper, you need to stay around 200 degrees. Okay, this is oxyacetylene, but I usually just use the acetylene. I have different things you can do with acetylene. Okay, here's the torch again, and again you want the blue or flame. That's when it's hitting it is why it's making that color here. But so I've got the blue flame on there, okay, and so these are our patina stains. Okay, I mean dioxides, I'm sorry. These are our dioxides. So I'm heating up the metal, putting on the dioxide here, first spraying it on, and then next I'm putting on another type. First was orange, second was red, and then third I put on yellow after I reheat it again. This is transparent. Okay, so it will become slightly opaque the more you put on, but if you don't put too much on, you have this nice, beautiful kind of red, orange, yellow transparency. Here again, blue flame, real important. Okay, I'm heating up this, sandblasted. And this is Japanese brown put on hot. You can put it on cold and you kind of get orange browns. If you put it on hot, you get these burgundy blacks. So I'm heating it up here. You can see it's starting to work. And here, right over in this corner here is what it's going to look like. But you really can't tell how beautiful it is until you put your wax or your oil or your lacquer over the top of it. That's when you see the really blossoms. Different varieties of hot patinas, and these are all on non-ferrous metals, copper, brass, or bronze. And you can do just numerous amount of things. This right here is mica powders. So I put on a black patina underneath, and then I took a brush and I did what we call ringlets of mica powders over the top of it. This one here, again, I've used mica powders to get these kind of nice iridescence. This is a multi-patina, different things you do with a spray bottle. These are ferric nitrate, ferric chloride here. This is ferric nitrate, ferric chloride with titanium oxide and black, put on in layers. Everything here is layered, at least 3 layers. Okay, the only one that's not layered of this whole group is this one right here, and that, I told you about this before. This is, I showed it to you on the stainless. This is the rainbow. And the rainbow works really nicely with a polished surface. Give you all these rainbow colors. This is on brass, but it works on brass, copper, bronze, works on steel, works on stainless. A little bit different on stainless and steel. This is where I've done a red granite underneath, and that's done with a spray bottle with droplets at about 200 degrees, so the droplets stop. And this is 5 different patinas to get this red granite. And over the top of that, I took a sponge and I diluted our dioxide white 50%. With a sponge, I made all these veins. This is just some sculptures. This is a student did this of me one time, a long time ago, when my model didn't come, so I was sitting for my class, and she did this, my bronze, and showed it to me at the end of the semester. This is steel, so we'll talk about this in a minute, how you can make it look like bronze. This is a base of ferric nitrate, and then over the top of it, I've got mica powders in water to get these different. This is what we call Aztec gold. This is our purple blue. This is a piece I did of my cat when it died. It's called Fat Cat Joey. And this is ferric nitrate, ferric chloride, and cupric nitrate kind of mixed back and forth with a spray bottle at about 200 degrees. And this is our metal coating. There's lots of companies that have metal coatings. We're not the only one, but this is cold rolled steel. You can always tell because it's kind of shiny. It'll have an oil on it. This is hot rolled, has fire scale. And if you want to do any of the things that are down here, you have to first, I always recommend on cold rolled steel galvanizing. If you can hot dip galvanizing, nothing's better than that. And if you can get around 4 mils, because what happens is when the metal goes into the tank, it's molten, and what happens is the iron migrates up and bonds with the zinc. So you get incredible bonding, and you get something that's going to last up to 40 years if it's done right. Then you put a primer on. This is our bronze coating and a patina over the top, second layer. And you put it on while it's wet. Same thing here with the hot roll, but hot roll has carbon, and carbon is like having a primer. So it just acts as a barrier. What you're looking for is barriers. Anytime you're painting or doing anything on metal, you want to have some barrier so it doesn't start rusting on you. This is, we have two kinds of coatings. One is our B coating, which this is here. So when you put the patina on it, the coating has to be wet, okay? And then you let it do its thing. May take an hour, may take overnight, depends if you leave it. Usually when I do these, I like to do them at night, leave them outdoors, get a nicer patina, because you get the dew, mist from the night. This is our C patina, which means you can buff it up, just like real metal. This was Vista Black again, and I put this on here while it was wet, and afterwards I came back and buffed up all these areas, the top. This is clay, so you can put it on anything. It doesn't matter what you put it on. Wood, clay, glass, stone, makes no difference. This is the B coating here. This is C coating. It has 6 times as much metal as the B coating, and it's a 3-part, so it has a resonance. It's very, very hard. This is the B coating, and I put, again, I put on powder blue, and then I put on aluminum foil. And this is our B coating, and I put on, I think, copper on this, and then I put a patina. This is the patina without coating over the top, and this one over here, I put lacquer over the top of it. These are just our different metal coatings. You can see what they look like before a patina and after a patina, and you can see here, these are our bronze B, and I think B and B. And this is iron. We have iron too, which is really nice. This is what the iron looks like if you were to just put it on and let it dry. That's how all these are. This is our pewter, and this is our silver. The silver that really buffs up to a silver only comes in the C coat. These are just some, I took these off some hieroglyphs and stelas in Mexico. I deal with people in a lot. And then brought them back, and in the molds I made, I put foam in them. Then over the foam, I put our coatings and all kinds of powders and pigments and stuff like that to make it look like ancient stone. Same thing on this one here. This is foam. You can pick it up with one hand, both these. This is some of my work, and this is bronze, and this is not a very good picture of this one. It has a lot of titanium oxide in the patina on top. This is a 300-year-old ox yoke, again bronze, and this is limestone. This is interesting because this is bronze, and it's a stela, and it's got all kinds of hieroglyphs up here, and it's called piercing the past. This is resin, polyester resin that's piercing through it. And this is an aura here, but the bottom is plywood. And the bottom looks just like that. You can't tell if you were to go look at it. You can't tell the top from the bottom. This is plywood. And this has got the C coat on it, so you can do anything you want to. Put the patina on while it's hot, put the patina on while it's dry, buff it back, bring up the metal. And this is called repoussé. I carved the wood, and then I put about 220 pieces of copper over it. And you put them over and tack them down and layer it. And this is steel, and then we put the bronze coating over it. The base here again is wood, just a piece of 2x4s. These are protective coatings that we sell. We have a lot. We have oils, we have waxes, we have water-based clear coats, we have solvent-based clear coats, we have 2-part clear coats that are indestructible, they're for bar tops. We have single lacquers. There's all kinds of products out there that are good. This is just some other things I wanted to show. This is our waxes. So anyway, this was a piece where I had a mold. I poured the C coat in, sprayed it in actually, 3 coats. Then I backed it with resin, polyurethane. And then when I got it out, I buffed it up. And then I put our Verde wax and our green wax over the top and buffed it off the top of it and just left it in the recess. Waxes are wonderful. They're like a last resort. If you have any problems, you know, wax is what it is. What's there is what you get. What you see is what you get. This one again is called cold cast. That means you put metal powder, it doesn't matter what it is, it could be iron, steel, ground up into resin and cast it. And then it's just like a real piece of metal. But it's a lot cheaper than to cast in, you know, if you were to cast something. And again here, once I got it out of the mold, I sandblasted it. I also sandblasted this one, by the way. You have to expose the metal. You've got an acrylic or you've got a resin around the metal, so it's not going to patina. You have to expose the patina. So by sandblasting, I exposed the metal, and I put a liver of sulfur on there first, patina. Then I put Tiffany green over the top of that, and then buffed off the top. This is brass. So this is about 2 pounds of brass in this piece here. Okay. This one's aluminum. This is our solvent dyes with our waxes over the top. This is our metal coatings on here and on the wood. And then I put blue wax and black wax over this part here. And this is a model I had for my light modeling class once that I liked the look she had. So I told my students I could make a mold in 30 minutes and make a reproduction. So I made a reproduction in plaster in 30 minutes. Okay, you have to use something called alginate. Okay, and these are our oils. Our oils are wonderful. If you have a large expansive surface, oils are nice because they lay out real nicely and they don't streak. And we have all kinds of colors in the oils. What I did was I put a patina on here first. This is, I think, Japanese brown put on hot, and I put the oil over the top of it. Japanese brown cold, and I put the oils over the top of it. Okay. Same thing here. This is ferric nitrate, ferric chloride. And this one had fire scale in it. This one had fire scale too. I buffed off the fire scale, got the fire scale, left it in the recesses. Then I put the ferric nitrate, ferric chloride on here. Then I put the brown oil over the top. Now, oils and waxes, if they're outdoors, don't last a long time. That's the only problem. The best thing I found for outdoors, for iron and steel, is to put the oil on, let it dry for 3 days, and put lacquer over the top of it. That's the best I've ever seen for lasting, outdoors. This is, again, steel, and I did ferric nitrate, ferric chloride on this here. I made grids in it. It's actually a bowl. It's just standing up, so you can see it. And I've got cortin steel, little chunks here, little stainless, and cold rolled, hot rolled, and then I sprayed it with lacquer over the top. This is a ceramic bowl with our metal coating over it, and gold leaf with it. I got powder blues in there. I also used plastic wrap to do some of this, make it look really ancient. This is our iron coating over clay, and so it rusts real easily. It's really nice. And I put it on 2 coats, and on the second coat, before I put on Tiffany green, because that's on iron, is going to turn to a rust, I took a sponge and put on copper. And so the copper in those areas is going to turn green as opposed to the rest of the iron. This is my cat again. This is a rat patina. These are those pieces you saw before. This is that stainless steel piece with a smart stain on it. And this is the one you'd already seen. Remember, it has mint green in this area here. And then it has liver of sulfur in here. And this is everywhere bronze and stainless steel mixed together. This is steel. And the lady just finished this about a month ago. It's quite large, you can see. And then she sandblasted it, and then she put primer on it, and then put iron coating on it, and did all kinds of patinas, all of rust, obviously. And so she used Tiffany green and light green on here to get different things. And some of them she put the plastic wrap on to get texture, and some she did.
How long will that clear coat work on the exterior pieces?
I'm sorry?
How long will the, what can you expect out of the lifespan on the clear coats outside?
Clear coats are usually good for 5 years. The metal coating is good for 15 to 20. That was on that tree. That lasts longer. I know
When
I
you said
had
the
all
primer,
my-
the primer on the tree, what kind of a primer?
It's called our primate. It's a red iron oxide primer. And I don't know if she galvanized before she did that or not. I'm not sure of that one. I can't remember. And this is the leaves again, eucalyptus leaves underneath, and we're finishing up here. We're putting on an Everclear, which is our real protective coating, our surface. And here I've used a lot of solvent dyes with mica powders in them. This is on bronze. I had a liver base on this one here, and then we went in with the mica powders and dyes, And that went on first with our clear coat, our lacquer clear coat. So basically, you're kind of putting our protective coating in the beginning, and then over the top of that, we put Everclear, which is really, really strong. It's a two-part. Okay, and this is in a park. And so, you know, we're afraid that people, we're going to put our graffiti, we have a graffiti coating too that we are going to put onto it, just in case, you know, people put graffiti all over this. This is some paintings I did with our coatings. This is just done with the B coatings. Some C coatings, you can't see it, but I buffed up areas so the metal is showing through in some of these, and used different opaque patinas on here. And this is a koi fish painting I did. This is a metal coating. It's just layer after layer. Every fish that you're looking at, the shadows of the fish, is one layer. So I've got about 10 layers of coating on this to get this to happen. This is a koi fish sculpture I did. I like koi fish, obviously. And this is powder blue and Tiffany green on the water here. It doesn't show that right this minute. And then these are white gold and yellow gold and copper, and then the dyes over the top. And these are patinas on here. There's ferric nitrate first, and then when it dried, I put on Tiffany green over the top of that and sealed the whole thing. That's it.
Ron,
Yes.
there's actually two questions that a lot of our members have that appear on our listserv quite often, and they have to do with bronze hand railing.
Okay.
One is how do we get it to be a nice antique brown, black kind of a color? And then number two is how do we protect that? And then number three is after a certain period of time, even the protection is going to go away. What do we have to do then to resurface it or reapply the clear coat?
It kind of depends, you know, what you put on as there's all kinds of patinas, and there's different ways to make it look like an oil or bronze. You can put liquid sulfur on there as a starter. Those patina stains were real easy because we have brown and yellow, and if you put those over a black that you pull back, like let's say M24 or M38, and put that over the top, you get an all-raw bronze. The fixing of it, that's the hard part, you know. You could put our Everclear on there, which is our strongest coating, but over time, you know, abrasion is going to wear that out. I just did a video, it's on YouTube. We have about 65 or 70 videos on YouTube. And we just did one on repairing a copper sink, which is basically the same problem. Wears through to the copper, and on there was a ferric nitrate patina, so that's sort of very similar to oil or bronze. And what we do is just show, what I'm showing you is how to bring it back to where it was before, which is to put a patina back on in those areas. You have to put it with a sponge, then you neutralize it, and then you come back in with, excuse me, our patina stain in the brown, and go right over that, and then you put on a clear lacquer, and that would be the easiest way if you have little problems like that. You know, there's no simple answer to it. Obviously, the clear coat's going to make a big difference. You know, you can go oil, you can go wax, but those are going to come off in a very short period of time.
Are you still recommending the Permalac or
No, we have Everclear. We
Everclear?
decided to make our own because we know exactly what's in it. So that's what we do now. And then we've come up with a lot of new, we've got new coatings. Basically, Debbie's done them all. Debbie Van Vader, It's developed a lot of new coatings, which are pretty nice. Our new graffiti coating is great. You put it on anything. And I put it on concrete, porous concrete. You can spray anything you want on it, and you can take our graffiti remover and wipe it right off.
Why is that?
Why?
Is it that smooth, or
Well,
is
it seals it so well, you know, and yes, in essence, it's making it very smooth. Yes.
I mean, you do great work from Great Admirer Road it, but a lot of us do 200 feet of rail
Yeah.
every time. And, and I do a lot of rust finishing, so my question is, if I sandblast on this rail, and I use this Japanese brown rust. And then we hit it with the copper sulfate to get the yellow oranges in there,
Yeah,
and then powder coat this. I mean,
I'm not sure you can powder coat that.
well, how do you,
Well, you have to seal it with something, you know, like our Everclear would be, any kind of lacquer will coat it real nicely.
have you ever tried
Or
powder
a
coat?
smart coat. I haven't tried that particular one. Debbie might know more about that than I do, because she talks to people more than
I
I do.
used to chop brown under and then clear coat powder. And one job lasted and 3 haven't, and I'm gonna have to redo them.
Well, usually if you do it in the house, you get it coated. in the
House
back.
would be different than outdoors, but I've had trouble with chemical reactions. That's a chemical patina. Now, when you go to a non-chemical patina like our dyes, lots of people use our dyes and powder coat over
So
those.
you're saying the same process, the sandblast, you use dye and then powder coat it?
Uh-huh, yeah. You can make the dye look just like oil rub bronze if you want.
I'll call you.
Anybody else?
I got a question.
Yes.
We did some rails and we had the blacking.
Uh-huh.
We used instant black 333.
Okay.
And we got cold roll instead of hot roll.
Uh-huh.
And it wouldn't blacken evenly.
Wouldn't do what, I'm sorry?
It wouldn't blacken evenly.
Evenly. Okay, remember what we just talked about? If it's smooth, was it smooth?
It has to be
Very-
sandblasted.
Yeah. Get a sandblast, you get nice, I mean, just think about it. You get these little dents in there, places for the patina to grab to, you know.
It gives us some tooth, basically.
Yeah, it should too. Anybody else?
What do you put that gold leaf and silver leaf on? What do you use as your size for that?
Sizing depends. I use water-based because it's so nice, you know, it's milky when you put it on, when it's ready to put when it's tacky, when it's ready to put the gold on, it's clear. And that's great indoors. I've used it outdoors, works pretty well too. There's one from Germany that's really good at sizing. You can buy it in most craft stores. A lot of things I've done where I think they're going to be outdoors for a long period of time, I use a oil-based sizing, which is a varnish. Basically, it's varnish. You know, when it's tacky is when you start putting on your leaf.
Do you have to remove the sizing before you start from places where the leaf isn't before you?
No, what you do, if you're going to do like I showed you there where you have places, you take a sponge and you put it into the sizing. And you go, and
Then lay the leaf on
and
that.
then you lay your leaf on that, and there's all these open areas where your patina could go. Anybody?
Don't size the whole thing.
No, you don't size, because
it
then you can't patina. Now you can't patina it, so yes, you just put it in with a sponge. And again, the texture of the sponge. There's one I get over at the drugstore. It's one of those big sponges for, you know, sponging yourself in the bath, in the shower. They work real nice. They have a real nice texture to them and patterns. And then sea sponges. I always look around for different types of patterns in sea sponges. So, and then there's the little one I told you about, which is the facial sponge. That's real nice for doing nice little delicate work. Excuse me. Anybody else?
Yeah, some of the questions recently on the lists are, I'm asking these questions for some of the people that aren't here right now.
That's okay.
Has been about the blackening or darkening of the stainless steel. And I know you did mention it, but would you go a little bit more detail about how you might go about it?
You have to get the nickel and the chrome off, or it's not going to patina. So generally what I do is I'll use a 40 grit orbital sander, usually flat sheet. So I'll use an orbital sander 40 grit first, then I go in and sandblast at 120 psi with my 40 grit silica sand, silica oxide. That's stronger than aluminum oxide. And I do that, and then I'm ready. Usually I'll take some naphtha and I'll wipe it with naphtha real good, or xylene, and then I'm usually ready to do my black.
What are you using as an applicator? Like if you were to do a large surface, are you spraying it, rolling it?
I'm spraying it. You want a fine mist. And remember, you're going to have to do that. If you want the black that some people want, you're going to have to do it 3 times.
Or just like a tint to make it.
Tint is coming the first time. Ours works real nice. It starts in a patch. It's really kind of strange. It doesn't do it all over. It'll go this little teeny clump of black will start, and it'll start spreading. Then there'll be another little clump, and it'll start spreading until the whole thing turns a gray black. And they all seem to do that. It's pretty universal.
Will that have to be sealed then?
Oh, I would. But here's the other thing. You could hope that it would, and I learned this from a guy from Europe. He tells me, this is something I've learned, I don't know if it's exactly like that, the chrome and nickel migrate back up in 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know if that's true or not. But if you seal it, what the chrome and the nickel need is oxygen to be as protective as they should be. So that's why you don't seal stainless steel. You leave it the way it is, because you need oxygen. So if you seal it, you are taking away that part of it, but you may have anyway when you put the patina on. If that's about all I can say about that.
Hey, Roger, we did a stair not too long ago, stainless steel stair, when we darkened it. We used the DA standard just to go back through and rough up the material,
Right.
give it up some volume. We used your stainless, stainless. We went the whole entire stair, just darken it up. What we've learned throughout the years is that when you get a large project like that, you limit it to just 2 finishers because everyone's approach on rubbing things out or whatever, really can't go too many. So you limit it to a couple of guys, and that way they can work together and blend things in.
And
We sealed it.
And you should
Sealed it with all
neutralize
the
it
stuff.
too. I usually use a Scotch-Brite, a gray Scotch-Brite, or if I really want to take off a lot of it, I'll use a green Scotch-Brite. That's a little bit more abrasive. And I usually use Scotch-Brites, and you need to neutralize it. Because what's going to happen over time is you're going to get a white on there if you don't seal it. That's from the acid. It's an incredibly heavy acid you have to use to do anything to stainless. It's not just regular old muriatic acid. You have to be a sulfuric. You have to use heavy sulfuric acid. It's a really strong patina. Anybody else?
Yeah. Another question just came in here from New Jersey, and the question is what do you use for cleaning before you put your, after your abrasives? Do you have some kind of a solvent cleaner, acetone? What do you use as to get the oils?
Like bronze, brass, copper, any of them?
Even the steel, if you handle it, you get your thumbprints on it.
We have 2 that work. Our graffiti remover is pretty darn good at taking off anything, after you've sanded or it depends on what I'm going to do. I use that sometimes. We have what's called IMS cleaner too that works pretty good. Sometimes I'll use xylene. Sometimes I'll use naphtha. I've kind of gotten into naphtha a lot lately. I like that. Naphtha's really good too. This is for something entirely different. If you're having problems with fish eyes, if you clean that metal surface with naphtha, you'll get rid of any fish eyes that would form on there. That's an old time trick I heard. It works. Seems to work. Works on patinas too. Say you're going to put lacquer over the patina. Sometimes you'll get fish eyes in patinas. I've had that happen too, but if I put the naphtha over it first, you spray on a little bit, let it evaporate real quickly, and then spray it, it's really, I have never had a problem. So, and then, those are the ones I use. The only time I don't use, let's say, some sort of a metal cleaner, and I haven't tried this on steel, but I do it on bronze because I do a lot of transparent patinas on bronze. If you're going to do a transparent patina on any non-ferrous metal, copper, brass, or bronze, I wouldn't use a metal cleaner. I would either use xylene or I would use naphtha to clean it, because you can get streaks for some reason. Even though you wash it off afterward, somehow you get these little streaks going. So I always just wash it either with xylene or naphtha if I'm going to do it transparent. If I'm doing opaque, it makes no difference. Anybody else?
Yeah, here's one from Michigan City that says in terms of neutralizing your the patinas, is there some universal neutralizer that you put on the patina prior to putting your sealer or clear coat on it?
Acetone is one that works. There's one that's probably the best, but the chemical is so dangerous, I kind of stay away from telling people it's potassium dichromate. which is a nice patina, by the way. It wasn't in the slide thing, but it gives you a beautiful orange patina, transparent. And it happens to be a rust inhibitor too. So you can put that, you can mist that slightly over maybe 3%, you know, like 3% and 96% water. Mist that over your patina afterward, and it'll tend to neutralize the chemicals, okay? Another thing will be washing, depending on the type of patina. If you've got a heavy oxide on there and you wash it, you're going to wash off the oxide too. That was one of the problems. The other thing is, if they're made for bronze, brass, and copper, generally they'll have rust inhibitors in them and chemical inhibitors in the lacquers or whatever the protective coating is. And so the thing you're trying to do is neutralize the chemical. This is really true on a gold patina. One of the reasons people don't use gold patinas a lot, and I'm not talking about browns or blacks because those have selenium and those bite into the metal. But a lot of times on greens and blues, you have this kind of soft film on there. You can wipe it off with your finger, and people go, "What do I want to do that for?" Well, you can't touch it right then. You have to leave it alone. The secret is you want to bond that oxide to the metal. So what you want to do is dilute, let's say, your lacquer or whatever you're using, at least 40%. And what that does is that makes it penetrate, lets it penetrate through the oxide and bond to the metal. Okay. Then on your next layer, you can go back to normal strength lacquer, let's say 10% of solvent and 90% lacquer. But that first coat is really, really important that you get the, whatever you're putting on there, that you're, you know, your protective coating, to bond with the metal underneath the patina. Because the patina will keep on working. I mean, it'll bond with the metal as time goes on. Okay, but to begin with, you want to help that patina because it's fragile. It's a fragile patina. Cold patinas. Not all of them are, but a lot of them are. You can tell. You can take your finger and you can see if it comes off. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Depends again too how good you prep the surface. Remember, we're talking about tooth. More tooth you have, less chance you have of that coming off on your finger. That makes sense? Anybody else?
Question from Frankfort, Illinois.
Okay.
What is the best way to get more of your information, and how do we obtain your products?
Well, you can go to the Sculpt and Bow website, and then you can segue over to our other places. We have different things going on YouTube. We have just about everything we produce. We have a video on it. I just made some last week. There's 17 minutes. You know, they're really long. You know, the longest ones I've ever done. They only let you have 8 minutes. They used to, but now you can go a lot longer. So some of these we went really long. So one of them was the one I was just telling you, how to repair a copper sink. Because they don't put a very good protective coating on a copper sink. And what people don't realize is toothpaste is incredibly abrasive. It's how it cleans your teeth. It's got pumice in it. You know, it may have peroxide in it. If you got the mouthwash that whitens, that's got peroxide in it, hydrogen peroxide. You know, that's like a patina. You know, so you got to be really careful on sinks. You know, those copper sinks. You know what you put down into them. You know, you have to have running water going when you're gargling. Mouthwash has all kinds of patina stuff in it. You know, some of them have phosphoric acid. You have phosphoric acid in your Coke. I mean, that's the most friendly acid there is. That's the one that old-timers use on steel when they want to prevent rust. They'll put that on, let it sit overnight, and it forms a white film, and then they take that off with stainless steel brush, and then they put their coating on. I've had old-timers, I mean, that works great. Phosphoric acid, it's a rust inhibitor, as well as a cleaner. Anybody else?
Our last question from online is, what is our longest expectation in terms of clear coats on exterior work, and is it that 2-part Everclear, I believe you said, and the life expectancy of that?
Well, you know, it depends on where you are. You know, the different places like by the ocean where you've got sodium chloride, that's killer on protective coatings. The closer you are to the ocean, because sea breeze, you know, and that salt is hitting that constantly all the time. Generally, I always say about 5 years, but one of the things that we keep telling people is maintenance. You know, maintenance of the work. You know, if you have a car and you have a paint that's probably been researched more than anything else, and you wax that usually once a year, right? Well, the same thing holds true for a piece of sculpture or a railing or a door or a window made of copper, brass, or bronze or something. You have to maintain the integrity of the protective coating. Best way to do that is to wax it once a year. Now, wax will keep the UVs from breaking down the coating, protective coating, or the salts, you know. And if you did that faithfully every year, you know, which people don't, by the way. I know I do a lot of restoration and conservation, and you tell them what to do, and they spend a lot of money for us to come out and restore their piece, and then they don't take care of it. Then you're back in 3 or 4 years again doing the same thing. You know, it's maintenance. Best place I've seen, we just got back from Boston. Boy, they really are taking care of their sculptures in Boston. I was so impressed with the sculptures there. Every one of them looks really good. Go to a lot of cities and they look terrible. Like bronzes in particular.
Best kind of wax to use on something like that.
Well, I'm not supposed to be promoting our stuff, but there's only, I think ours, maybe one other wax that I know of that's for metal. And a metal wax has got to have a lot of different things in it besides the basic microcrystalline and paraffin and maybe beeswax and carnauba. Carnauba is the hardest of the waxes, okay? And then we have a binder in ours, and we have all the inhibitors, rust inhibitor, chemicals inhibitor, UV inhibitors in it. So, and ours is about 5 times as strong as any other wax once it's hard. And what's the secret of wax? And this is any wax, Johnson, I don't care what wax you use. You're trying to compact the wax. So when you're buffing it, you're compacting it. And that makes it stronger. You know, you need to buff it. And you only want thin coats. You don't want big, thick coats of wax. You want little coats and maybe 3 of them. Put one on. And another secret is, we had a guy call us one time and say, your wax failed on my sculpture. And I said, oh, okay. And I happened to be there that day at the office. And I said, what'd you do? And he said, well, I put it on. I did everything you said. I read all the instructions. Okay. I said, how long after you put it on did you wipe it off? And he said, oh, about 5-10 minutes. Well, waxes take longer than that to dry. He just wiped all the wax off. The secret is to take your finger and rub it over. If it looks oily on your finger, you're not ready to buff. If you can run your finger over it and nothing's on your finger, you're ready to buff. Okay? And use a microfiber cloth. That's the best. And buff it. And then put your second coat on, let that dry, buff it. Put your third coat on, let it dry and buff it. Then you've got a really good protective coating over the top of, let's say, your lacquer or whatever it is you put on there. That would be the best. There's no, you know, it's maintenance. Anybody else? Okay, thank you very much.
Well,